Hello YouTube, this is the Galley La Podcast, and this week we are going to be reviewing the last 3 episodes of the Chainsaw Anime, episode 10, 11, 12. This is Akainu Fanboy, and we have Geboss and YoitsOnzo. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. So when episode 10, it was so after, we see that raid, and there was some really good characterization, I think, in this one, just with Aki in the hospital. Just kind of like reminiscing over, always Himeno?
Yeah.
Is that, okay, yeah, Himeno. And,
how dare you don't know Best Girl's name?
I know, I just want to make sure I pronounce it correctly. And then we get introduced to a new boss sensei that reminds me of Aokiji from One Piece. Which is Captain Kishibe, I believe is how you pronounce his name.
Kishibe, yeah.
Yeah, so what was let's talk about the training part of episode 10. What were your guys' thoughts on
that? Brutal.
Yeah.
One of the coolest characters, Kishibe, just he's always on his guard. Like, they were trying to kill him so many times and they just couldn't. It's a badass.
Yeah, it's like the trope where if you're like old in a profession where it's usually young people, then you're a badass in it because you have to survive that long. And
I think they kind of emphasize that with the graveyard background too.
Oh
where
yeah.
You see all these dead hunters, and then you just have this older guy, that's just he's still standing after all this,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
does it say like how long he's been working there, or
I think
just kind of like assume?
I'm trying to remember if he's one of the first ones or not. I think he might be one of the first. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, he's a great character. Actually, let me look that up really quick.
Yeah, so like kind of the fight scenes with them were pretty good. I especially liked the ambush scene at the end of the episode too, where they had all the blood in the bottles, and he's just like not even phased though. He's just dodging, knocks them both out pretty effortlessly, and then he just takes another drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought it was a pretty smart idea, and then it just didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, Power even put on her glasses, and this still wasn't enough.
Exactly.
Smart Power.
But it was a cool fight sequence though. I appreciated it. I really enjoyed that one. And then also we see Aki. I don't know. I thought like the treatment of Aki with this, like, I like how this show is brutal and characters die, but they actually value the death of those characters.
Mm-hmm.
Again, kind of like another contrast to Hunter x Hunter, where Hunter x Hunter, like, a lot of brutal deaths and everything, but they just kind of move on and they don't reminisce on the character dying, while here is kind of the opposite though, which I really appreciate that a lot though.
I mean, I'm gonna go against you on that, because Hunter x Hunter, like, one of the main things about it, like when it matters to the person, there are a couple deaths like Palkles and Ponzoos toward the beginning of the Chimera Ant arc. But
I was thinking those specifically. Yeah, those are the ones that popped up.
But besides that, like, that's like a major thing, like with Uvogin and the Phantom Troop and Pakunoda. Once Kurapika kills them, like, they're going after Kurapika. And,
that's true. Yeah.
And the same thing with Gon's whole character with Kite being killed by the Chimera Ants. But
anyway. I guess like there's just a lot of side characters that just get completely bodied and they just kind of move on from there on out. I was also thinking of I'm blanking the name of it, but when Kurapika's team they were going in basically, and you kind of had redhead chick, like they all just get like kind of butchered and massacred, and then they're not brought up again for the rest of the series, kind of thing. So that's kind of what I more mean right there. But I do agree with you on those other points.
Yeah. I've also been rewatching Hunter x Hunter, so it's fresh in my mind.
So sorry for the diversion, but Aki though, getting that letter though from Himeno is also like really touching and tragic, and just even the animation, that hospital room scene where you just kind of have the apple, and I don't know, it was just really well done. Yeah.
Who is the girl that came into his like the hospital room.
Oh, that was
Shot here.
that was Himeno's sister.
Okay, so like just like everything that Himeno had prepared him for, it just came back in a loop.
Well, I think it was letters that Himeno had written to her sister, and then she wanted Aki to see how much Himeno meant, or Aki meant to Himeno.
I thought it was like an instance where like when she got slapped in the face, and then she said like, this is gonna happen to you all the time.
Oh yeah, it's to like juxtapose that. I guess Aki might have thought that he might have gotten that end when Himeno died, but she didn't really hold a grudge against him.
Yeah. But so yeah, it was a good contrast of just kind of like memorial for Himeno, and then as we get introduced to the captain too in the graveyard, I think it's kind of like a fitting side by side of the plot, you know. A lot of death, and we need to get better, you know, because Aki also lost I believe it was the White Fox, is that the name of it?
The Fox Devil, yeah.
Yeah, Fox Devil. Okay. Yeah, the Fox Devil. And then Denji and Power are obviously training too. So they're both kind of training and growing in character development in the context of kind of mass death, basically, and a big defeat. Which I think establishes a really good foundation for the last 2 episodes. But do you guys have any other finishing thoughts on episode 10?
Yeah. Well, what do you think about... Oh, I guess it doesn't really show him at the end. But I guess that it starts off the second one with the Future Devil, I think it is.
Yeah, the Future Devil.
Well, I guess that'll start the next episode, episode 11.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say that there was the part when they were fighting in the graveyard, and Kishibe, like, really fastly stabs Denji multiple times. There's a similar scene like that with that's probably going to be in the next Jujutsu Kaisen season. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
And
Andy like slit Power's throat.
Oh yeah.
They're, like both like dying on the ground. It's freaking brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, and it also shows like when Denji's like spasming in the graveyard, like part of him broke, I think.
Yeah.
Because he'd been killed so many times.
Yeah, they're like, how many times did we get killed today? Like over 20.
Yeah.
So I did enjoy the training sequences though. It felt pretty good and unique and everything in that respect. And then we see the true villain of the series in episode 11 with Makima doing her thing a bit, where she's trying to gather more intel and she's talking with these mobsters, and she makes short work, you know.
Yeah. Well, first I think we should talk about the Future Devil, because that's like the most. That's
true.
Yeah, that's how the episode opened up, and I think it's probably the most, not foreshadowing, but like, I guess it is foreshadowing. Of what?
It definitely plays a big part into like the second half of Chainsaw Man.
Yeah. Like So, what did you think about it?
He was creepy, unique. It kind of reminded me of what is it? That one weird creature from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Ko the Face Stealer.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's. I knew you'd know the reference, so that's why I asked you. But I got similar vibes there. You know, kind of like mischievous, but at the same time, like not completely against the protagonist. You know, like still wanting to like kind of like, you know, benefit off it. And so that's kind of what I got that feeling with Aki, and it kind of like obviously raised interest and suspense around Aki now. Basically, it's kind of like a Chekhov's gun with him now for on the rest of the series. Like, when's he gonna go, in a way, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, Oh, you go
Sorry.
ahead.
Can you do 2 contracts at one time? Like, does he have to lose his Fox Devil contract? Or no?
I think the fox already left him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the previous episode, because the katana man sliced him open.
Oh.
Yeah, he tried summoning it before. Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen the episodes.
Yeah. But yeah, so I thought it was a cool, creepy scene, unique with the prison and everything, and it makes sense why. So can they? Would this be a spoiler to ask? But as a newbie, can they actually kill the demons so they don't exist anymore?
I don't know.
Okay. Or it's just kind of a question of capturing them and all this stuff. So
yeah, I think they can get reborn, but the ones that they want to that are friendly toward, or not friendly but neutral, they can form contracts. They keep them. Otherwise, they get rid of them.
Okay,
but
gotcha.
But yeah, in looking back at it, it seems like the Future Devil is just kind of neutral in all of this, because it knows what is gonna happen. So
yeah, more of an observer than a participant.
Just watching everything go down. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Nothing really he's just sitting there. It's kind of like Ryuk, with the Death Note. He's just sitting there for entertainment, watching Light do his thing.
Right, and so kind of moving on. It was interesting to see Captain Kishibe says he's already grown an attachment to Denji in power.
Yep.
Which I thought was really interesting. And then he's kind of suspicious of Makima's bullshit, so
yeah.
Which I like that scene a lot, because they kind of get introduced him as a powerful, wise soldier, and he's kind of having a heated conversation with her too, the other really wise, powerful character too. So it's kind of cool to see kind of a clash of words going on here.
Definitely.
Kind of putting in the threat. It actually kind of reminds me of, sorry for all the comparisons to other anime, but kind of Fujitora and Doflamingo kind of talking to each other, kind of just dropping veiled threats against one another, it's just kind of yeah, we need you insofar as if as soon as you cross this line, you're done for, basically,
Yeah.
He's calling, and is she technically above him?
I don't know the exact hierarchy. I know he's in Division 1 and she's in Division 4.
Okay.
So I think she's the head of Division 4, which has all the the fiends and the devils part of it.
So when they consolidated the divisions, she wasn't put in charge of him, basically.
I don't know, because later on he's working as part of the raid, but I don't know if that's because everyone was called in.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, I really enjoyed it. It was a cool back and forth scene, definitely. And then we kind of get into Makima with the mobsters and everything a bit. And also, when we had that brief mention of Katana Man saying that he's pissed off that they ran off, and he kind of wants to honor his granddad, so just some minor character development there too and everything. But what'd you think about Makima with the gangsters?
That was cool. We got to see. Is this where we get to see the identity of Sawatari, what she used to do before?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it kind of shows how she can basically do anything. Because she she took all their loved ones' eyes. So after that, she said she would put him back, right?
Yeah, which is, like, how does that work? Very interesting.
Yeah.
She always tries to come off as this polite, sweet girl, and she's just, I mean, yeah, she's a monster. I mean, like, you could say I'm not convinced she's doing it for good attention, but even if she's doing it for good attention, she's just like, I'll use anything to get my goal, basically, at the end of the day. I mean, because she starts talking about, when you talk about using necessary evil, and everything, and I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. And she's talking about basically, like, it's not a true necessary evil unless the nation itself is holding the leash and maintaining control. Which is really, man, how can I say this? Type of nominalism, just to use a fancy term, but this idea, like, oh, if I'm in charge, whatever I do goes, basically. It doesn't matter what I do, like, I am, like, the moral law myself, basically, in a way. And that's just how she sees it. I'm in charge, whatever I do is right, because I say what's right, in a way, It is kind of psychotic when you think about it, It's really, like, chilling. Like, if you really, like, look at what she's saying in that scene, like, yeah, you kind of get focused on the eyes and all that stuff, but what she's saying is, like, actually, like, a really evil philosophy when you kind of think about it. And this is coming from someone who doesn't know the ending or anything, so this is me just picking up on these clues that are being dropped to me here. So that I'm not trying to say I've spoiled myself or anything. This is how I'm interpreting the show. So did you guys have any more takes on that part?
I think it's interesting.
I guess,
you go ahead.
When you were, like, kind of speculating, like, oh yeah, it's like she's not that good of a person. You're, like, saying that, like, every other time. And then, like, this one kind of confirms it, because those are, like, what? They're not even in the Yakuza. They're just the wives, the kids.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
Like, you gotta be pretty messed up to have to, or to even think about doing that.
Also,
Yeah,
that's
this was the first time we actually, like, saw, like, something, like, cheated, like, and know that it was with kind of, like, evil intentions, even though, because, like, you can't do that, and I'm sure she wasn't ordered by, like, the government or anything to do that.
No, I mean, it's basically just they trust her to get anything done by any means necessary.
And just let her have that freedom.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we'll look the other way, Sometimes you got to be careful how you feed the alligator, though. Sometimes and everything. So that's also a thought with those type of people. It maybe be too much of a detour, but I was kind of thinking, like, what's the difference between, like, Akainu and her sense of justice, if there really is a difference, or is she more like Lucci with his dark justice, But maybe a talk for another time on that point. I don't know. Just kind of thinking, like, comparing and contrasting that. And then we basically get introduced to all these devils that the Public Safety Commission has control of.
Yeah.
Which one is your favorite new one?
I did like the Shark Fiend, actually. I know.
And that's the correct answer.
Yeah. He looks derpy enough, yet, like, powerful, basically, so.
Yeah.
He's kind of
I really
cool.
like the violence. Is he the violence fiend or the
Violence Fiend, specifically, because there's a theory about his identity, about whose corpse he's taken over.
Ah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a spoiler or not. But yeah, it's interesting looking at it, because there were several clues, like, in the ending that they dropped. And, like, certain interactions that haven't taken place yet that are probably going to be in the next season.
Yeah. But also that Spider Devil is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, I don't. She's my least favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess she's working for the good guys, quote unquote. So that's good, I guess.
Yeah.
What about
And
the
then
Angel Devil?
yes, that one's unique.
Hmm.
Quite interesting. She's got like lifesteal or something like that.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting thinking about like of all the like because the devils are the embodiment of the fears, and like how many people are like afraid of angels compared to other stuff like sharks and spiders and violence in of itself.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
well, it's
think about it
interesting
like
because
that.
like if you actually like go into the Bible and everything, if you were to like actually see the physical description of an angel, you would be absolutely terrified, you know?
Yeah.
But like kind of how like society talks about angels, you know, they portray them like that basically, you know? So it's kind of a funny little difference there, yeah, on that point.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it is it's interesting how that angel fiend has like, you know, pretty broken ability, but you think like it wouldn't be that powerful, you know? So I don't know. No, I think it was they did it in a very creative, cool way how they introduced them all. Actually, I like the way they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that scene was very well done.
Yeah. And then yeah, kind of the next scene we get to see Aki bust out his new ability, walking down the hallway. I like how they still kept the samurai sword with him and everything. You know. I'm glad they didn't get rid of that.
Yeah. Well, it's a different sword than the curse nail.
Okay.
But it is a but at least it's still a sword.
But he can use this one whenever, and it won't
Shorten his lifespan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I was gonna mention that. Like in the previous episode, like it was the curse devil was saying like, oh, you only have 2 years left after using the nail, and then on top of that, the fiend was like, oh, you're gonna die like the worst way possible. So it's like, okay, Aki's gonna die, but when and how?
Yeah, and that's what I mean by like the Chekhov's gun type of thing. You know, it's like, when's this ability when's this crazy event gonna happen, basically. And it was interesting because like when we saw the future power, he wasn't terribly impressive using it for the first time, you know. And it's kind of interesting, like with shows like, let's say, One Piece with Future Sight, you know. It's like an insanely busted ability, but I kind of like, maybe like in the abstract, unless you in any series, you need to have like a really, really strong power set to take care of it, you know, in a way.
Yeah.
To make up for it, you know. Seeing the future can only get you so far, you know.
Yeah, because like when he's fighting the ghost devil after in the next scene, like he has to do that by himself. There's nothing aiding him.
Right.
Which is impressive that he's able to do that.
No, it is. Yeah. I was just obviously we're mainly a One Piece channel. Like with Katakuri, he has like so much else. Like, and that's why him having future sight is insane. Basically, that's what makes him a powerhouse. And what Aki's doing is impressive, but he's not like a powerhouse. You know, right now at least. You know. But I thought the scene was really touchy with Himeno, like with the cigarette scene, and you know they're eating the meal, and then that cigarette's brought back to him, and I thought that was just really beautifully done and heartwarming. So I just kind of think the character work, especially how it's sewn into the plot, is just really well done.
Yeah, that was the very sad part.
Yeah. It's not like other shows where it's like, okay, here's the action scene and then here's the character talking scenes. Like everything's integrated very well together.
Yes.
Like you're saying, like there's no like flashback mid-fight or anything like that, or like.
Well, I mean, the character beats get put into the plot a lot, which includes flashbacks, but even like the cigarette thing, like that.
It's organic. It's not like sterile and cut off. Like,
Yeah.
here's the slice of life scene. Here's
Yeah.
the action scene. You know, it's like it all builds upon each other. You know, into one thing, right? So, and their whole character development allowed him to take out this devil too, like with pretty. Yeah, he had easy revenge on the cigarette, and then in a way, yeah, this is the easy revenge that's taking place right here. You know, to defeat her. Which I don't know. Yeah, it was just really brilliantly done. Like I said, Aki's my favorite. So, or actually, I don't know. It might be Captain Kishibe now. I don't know. I'm going back and forth now. But yeah, so
It's a tough one.
that's where my rankings out right now, just for anyone listening. So
yeah, we'll talk about that at the end of the video, like where we stand at the end of the season.
Yeah. Then best girl, Kobeni comes up. Yeah, about to take her down. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, she
out of nowhere, it's like pops up right behind the. I forget her name. The one that has the snake contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was terrific. That was such a good hype moment right there. Yeah.
But yeah, she has some badass moments so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was good, and yeah, it was just kind of like that funny gag that like, oh yeah, you know, bonuses, and that's why I'm here, and then it was really funny when in that next scene with Power and Denji, how they see all the zombies and everything. They're like, oh yeah, they have a bonus, and then she's like, yeah, no, we're going in, you know.
And Denji just leaves her. Where he just stays in the elevator.
Yeah, she's like, are you watching this? He's not even there.
Yeah.
Yeah, see you later. Yeah, I don't know, she's all right. She's an okay enough character. I mean, she's good there for that good comedic point though. But yeah. So I don't know what. So when it comes to the Katana Man fight as a whole, what do you guys think of the animation or just the dynamics or just how they did the fight?
I mean, the animation was good. I think overall the best animation fight scene in just this first season was the Bat Devil for me.
That was a good one.
Yeah. But this is really good too.
Yeah, I really liked when they were fighting on top of the train.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was added from the manga. I don't remember them fighting on top of the train, but it did.
I don't think I remember that either.
Yeah, I think it eventually went into the train, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I like the dynamic. For some reason, I just got this odd Spider-Man vibe when they're in the subway. I don't know, it just made me think of that for some reason.
Yeah. Well,
you're not the only one.
Yeah, it's Spider-Man 2.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah. So
he's holding the subway thing back. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. Yeah, and then it kind of looks like just Denji's just getting his ass kicked for most of it, and then a surprise attack at the end was just like pretty phenomenal, though.
Yeah, he has the chainsaw in his leg.
Yeah, I just feel bad for that lady that was running out. Like, can you just imagine just seeing that? You know, like how freaking terrifying that'd be. You know, but I guess I just kind of it builds into their power when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
If you just see limbs fly everywhere and you have a katana coming out of some guy's head. It's gonna scare you, which then leads to an increase in power.
Exactly. Does the power thing work for like hybrids and fiends, or just the devils themselves?
That's a good question.
That's a question. Yeah.
But I mean, regardless.
Yeah. Onzo, did you have something to say?
I was just gonna say, Denji does look pretty terrifying when he's like in the Chainsaw Man form.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, throughout the whole thing, just the humans, like when they were the civilians that were in the way of every fight, they were just like looking at not only the villains but Denji, like he was also a monster.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was pretty cool. Like, because I remember in the first couple episodes there was I think it was the Bat Devil,
Yeah.
and he was he was telling those people to get out of here, and they were just sitting like staring at him like terrified.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's really hard to tell people to get out when you're literally a monster.
Yeah, and it was kind of interesting to see Denji again, just like he's trying to save people, right?
Yep.
And they try to make it seem like he has like completely no emotions, and he's just like basically wants to be a Makima and stuff. But I think you just see some minor development in that sense too. And then he also, at the end of the fight, he's like, you killed Himeno, and I liked Himeno, right? And so it's showing that he's growing more connections, because like when we were kind of first introduced to him, he's just kind of like a blank slate. He has like no development. He was just a slave and everything, you know?
Yeah, like he got that car thrown at him, and that guy was in it, and he's like, "You think I give a shit about some guy?" And then I mean, now he's like trying to save everyone, so that's cool.
Yeah.
That's definitely some development right there.
Yeah. Well,
And then he also, sorry, go.
Yeah, there was that he had that kind of a like inner discussion with himself about like after Aki broke down crying after Himeno died. He's like, oh shit, I haven't like if someone died, like how would I cry too? And that's a really interesting question, because he hasn't formed these relationships like a normal person would, because he's just been just completely raised in an abusive way. So it's interesting.
Yeah, and you kind of like, you grow these senses of love and emotion through pain, you know, and development and interactions, basically, right? And it's kind of like, let's just say if you took a newborn and you put them in a completely like germ-free environment, and then you just drop them in the middle of the world, like they would get sick a lot, you know, their immune system's not developed and everything, you know. In a similar way, Denji's like that on an emotional level, you know. You just kind of like drop this blank slate of a human, you know. But what I kind of appreciate is like he kind of still has that stupid immaturity at the end, but he's using it in a way to cheer up Aki and to get payback for Himeno. And it kind of like goes with the theme of the show, you know, of like, we're still gonna make light of just like getting our revenge while kicking this guy in the balls, kind of thing, you know, right?
Yeah, that was
One of the best scenes.
Yeah, I was waiting for this scene to get animated. Because it's such a good callback to Denji and Aki's first meeting, and then and then they've teamed up together to take their frustration out on the person who killed their friend. And it's also kind of a, it's funny that we brought up Hunter x Hunter earlier, because this is like that one scene where Crollo is like doing the requiem for Uvogin when he died.
Oh yeah.
It's basically just a parody of that.
Yeah, that's a really great point, actually.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, so, and then we kind of get the scene with Makima with the government, basically, and poor Kobetti, you know, like,
I know.
she's just seen the worst shit in this show, you know.
Yeah.
Because Sawatari just gets brutally just massacred, you know.
Yeah.
Right next to Kobani, huh?
Yeah. Oh god.
So what was that about? That wasn't her telling the snake devil to
So I think
eat her? She didn't like kill herself?
I think it's under the contract that she had with I think it was either the snake devil or the gun devil, that if she was captured that it would kill her.
Oh, okay.
So there wouldn't be any information leaked.
Yep.
And then we're left on the cliffhanger of where the Gun Devil's body parts are getting drawn to.
Yes. So, no. Yeah, it was just pretty interesting to. So I guess we could talk about closing thoughts for season 1, but I enjoyed every episode. Like the animation was solid, and I think we've kind of been hitting themes that I've been saying, but the character development is just really good. A lot of shocking, surprising scenes, but good emotional development. You know, they don't really just throw characters away, and just plenty of great comedy. And yeah, honestly, I'll just give this season an A. I loved it, you know, and this is coming from someone who hasn't seen the manga, so this is just someone coming in fresh with the anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of bad moments in it. I'd probably say I'd give it like the same grade.
Yeah, this was a really good adaptation. There wasn't like there were a couple things that they left out, but they weren't like necessary to the plot at all. But I did want to say the final like credits where it's just Denji, Power, and Aki all hanging out at home together. They went shopping and then they made dinner.
Awesome.
That was.
Yep.
It shows how far they've all come in their relationship together.
Yeah,
you gotta love those scenes where Aki's like walking out to the balcony to smoke a cigarette. I don't know why they just like animate that scene like crazy all the time. I think it happened like 2 or 3 times throughout the show, but
yeah,
I really like the cinematic moments in the whole show.
Yeah,
where it kind of feels more like a movie other than an anime, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I know like he loves the mangaka loves movies, and like he has a big appreciation for that, so I wonder if he had some kind of say in how they did it in the anime.
I'm not sure. I think it's up to the director who decides stuff like that, but
okay,
they probably knew kind of the direction that they wanted to go with it. But yeah, season 2 is going to be really good. What I want to see personally is, even though I hate the trend, I want season 2 to finish, and then I think there would be enough if they had just the final part of the series be a movie. Like, just throw all the budget into a movie.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking, is if they're just going to do one whole season or that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would really like.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Chainsaw would be the first one to animate a season as a movie. I think they'd be the first one to ever accomplish that, so that would be a great achievement, you know, for them to do that.
I mean, I don't think they would. I'm just figuring based on like where they would end season 2, they could fit the rest of the series into a movie.
Yeah. So, I was just me being a sarcastic ass, but anyways, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love going to see anime in theaters, so if they make it a movie, I'd love that. But also like, you know, movies only 2 hours. I hope they have enough to adapt all that they need to.
Yeah.
It's like, this has been so good so far, I don't want them to rush anything.
That's true.
But if they could pull it off well, then hell yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and two little notes, just again as anime only. I thought that last scene with the door that Pachita was telling him that he couldn't open.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of ominous because we haven't really been referencing him a lot. He's just kind of fading in the background.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, huh?
Well,
you know about that?
If you go to the very first episode, that's the very first scene. Is the door.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's the very first scene. It's in the first episode.
And back to more of my anti-Makima agenda. One thing I did kind of find that was interesting is she wasn't hanging out with Aki, Power, Denji.
Yeah.
You know, right? That's I'm like, you know, kind of like, you know, Yamato wasn't hanging out with Straw Hats. You know, I'm just kind of putting that out there. But yeah. So, anyways, those were just kind of two notes that I thought was fascinating looking into this. But yeah, any closing thoughts?
There was also an end credits scene of a new character. I don't know if like I forget what she says in it, but
it's about
it was like a new mystery character.
It's about the city mouse and the country mouse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any thoughts on that?
No comment, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't want to say too much, but I just wanted to throw that in there that scene was there.
Yeah.
Definitely setting up for season 2. The start of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
any closing thoughts, Geboss?
I have a question for you. So, who do you think is gonna survive next season? I just want to get your gut reaction to it.
And this is just assuming that the second season is everything.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me. Okay. Kobeni will live.
Okay.
That's the only one I feel confident predicting will live. So,
really? Her out of everyone.
Yeah, it's just she's like just her, really. Like she's like the only one where I'm like, yeah, she'll live.
You are the real protagonist with the plot armor.
Yeah. Like dead ass about that, honestly. That's the only one I feel confident to say she'll live, you know, because it's just gonna be a gag where everybody else is dead and she's the only one left, you know, and then she still has to go to work the next day, you know. It's like a tragic comedy with her. Like that's kind of the running gag with her, you know. It's like she's like Toby from The Office, you know. So
I have not seen that, so can you just explain?
Oh.
How is she like Toby?
Okay, so Toby just basically everybody hates him and everything bad happens to him, you know, kind of thing. I mean, I'm not saying everybody hates Kobeni, but obviously everything awful happens to her. And that's just like a part of who she is as a person. So that's what I mean. She's kind of like the Toby in that sense, you know, she's just she takes all the damage, you know. Yeah, so anyways, yeah, that was just kind of my take right there. There's a lot of other parallel comparisons I can make there, but yeah, so those are my predictions.
When do you guys think we're gonna get season 2? Like this year at the end or next year?
Ooh, it's gonna be. I don't think until late 2023 at best.
Okay.
Because you have to. Mappa's already doing.
Yeah, they gotta.
Yeah, they
have
a
heavy
lot on their
workload right now.
Yeah, they have Hell's Paradise. They have Attack on Titan, the final part, the final season part 3.
Oh man.
The Vinland Saga.
Oh yeah, they are doing Vinland Saga, and they're doing Jujutsu Kaisen. So
aren't they doing One Punch Man as well?
I think that's a rumor.
Yes, and
I thought it was a rumor, but
I'm not sure. But whoever is doing that, that's a freaking big assignment right there. Because One Punch season 3 is just all action.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with the manga. I feel bad because the actual author like makes GIFs for pages. Like if you read the official online, it's actual GIFs for like fights.
Oh, okay.
So they have to live up to that level of stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, no. I think with just how popular it is, it's gonna be coming back pretty quickly. You know, kind of like Demon Slayer, it just took off. You know, and Demon Slayer they push out stuff very quickly. You know, so I think we're gonna see something similar here.
Yeah,
you know?
but Ufotable doesn't really have too much on their work plate. I guess that's why
true.
they can pump out that level of animation like that. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, they
so,
mainly
but,
do like Fate or whatever. But yeah, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, so we could close it up here, but thank you everyone for listening. Please like and subscribe if you haven't, and yeah, just listen to our other content, One Piece, and I think we might review Vinland Saga in a similar format of how we're reviewing Chainsaw Man. But anyways, thanks for listening. Have a good one. Peace.
See ya.
See ya.